DogChamp.
No, absolutely. Egoboys, though. 4th pick for them. Still lacking a position 5 and still lacking their own safe lane pick. They shall go into the Witch Doctor now. Which I think does make it still somewhat difficult, depending on what kind of position 1 they get. The Sand King, you've got the Sandstorm, but as soon as they place a couple sentries down, the level 2 Melodict especially can be extremely painful. Sand King, yeah, you have the Burrow Strike to get away, but you don't really want to expend it just to run. Witch Doctor, quite a lane dominant kind of position 5 to have, and very impactful throughout all stages of the game as well. You get one nice Dream Coil, or if you get a nice Ravage off, pop the Death Ward down, and suddenly you're doing so much damage as a position 5. DogChamp, we'll see how they want to respond to this. I mean, you have plenty of ways of picking off the Witch Doctor very easily, especially with that Storm up and available, but assuming this Witch Doctor picks up something like a Glimmer Cape, you're probably going to be alright. I don't think Ray Lisa will be carrying dust all the time.
There's only so many slots on that Storm. We tend to see Ray Lisa prefer something like Double Null and keeps a wand on handy for pocket mana. So you might run out of space early on, considering the timing of when the Glimmer comes out. And DogChamp, though, still have to hammer in what they want to do with the Sand King here. Again, should be the off lane, but you do have room for it on 4. Shift the Keeper of the Light to 5. Want to see a support that, again, gives them a little bit more control on top of what the Sand King has. Not many big options left in the pause 5. Maybe they'll look back to something like, say, the Undying would actually be alright. You've got the Strength here in the Tide. You can kind of drop them low. You can be aggressive in lane. They don't have the best hitters for the Tombstone. Puck could maybe get that done, but if you position your Tombstone right, it can still be really impactful. They do go with the Enchantress instead, so they can get some control out with some enchanted creeps. And of course, the Enchantress is very hard to trade against. It's one way to rip through the Tidehunter in that lane as well. You get Impetus level 1, you've got pure damage to fly out. You can kind of force the Tide back a bit more, force the Earth Spirit back a bit more as well. So DogChamp are looking to strengthen their lanes, and the Enchantress does kind of give them that strength in those lanes now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a really nice Enchantress pickup, but the one thing I do fear for the Enchantress is if you get rolled on by the Earth Spirit into a gush, you are pretty squishy. And of course, Untouchable is now your ultimate, so you're going to have to wait till level 6 to have that up. So in theory, she should dominate the safe lane for DogChamp, but there is still pick-off potential with this dual lane of Earth Spirit Tidehunter if she does get rolled on. Regardless of that, though, we're going to wait for these last pickups now, as we do have some more bans to come out. DogChamp. Get rid of the Jug and the Monkey. And they will go for the final pickup, which is the Wraith King. John, is it just me, or is DogChamp missing a ban?
Yes, they ran out of reserve time.
Okay.
So I think they skipped the ban. Probably not on purpose. I think they were just kind of stuck. So they had to rush into the Wraith King here. Don't have to worry about the AM, of course. Don't have to worry about anything yet to drain the mana. And does give them some good push with Enchantress Wraith King. They've got some good sustain on hand. And can play a bit more active this time around for Creep. He doesn't need to just sit back and farm. Depending, maybe he goes for the Radiance build, which does take some initial farm. But once you do have the Radiance, you will just start to run up, apply that pressure. Egoboys, looking for their own pickup. They could easily opt for something like the PL. I mean, there's no real illusion clear here from Egoboys. I guess the Storm has some AoE. The Sand King could deal with some illusion spam, but PL also has ways of dodging that out if they want to. And of course, a natural Diffusal Carrier makes it hard for the Wraith King until he gets his Ag Shard up to sustain in the middle of these fights. They go with a PA instead, so they just want some burst damage on hand. PA plus Witch Doctor is very deadly. You get the Maledict off, you jump in, get a crit, you're probably dead. And it plays really nicely with the Tide. Gush minus armor is not something you tend to think about, but that does give the PA an easier time to rip into these heroes. And of course, the PA does build into Battle Fury, which gives you a way of clearing out those enchanted creeps and the summoned skeletons here.
Yeah, I like the PA pickup. I think it's going to make it very hard for the Wraith King to actually get the damage output out throughout these team fights. Of course, Wraith King, not really a natural MKB carrier either. Maybe a Divine later down the line if you really want, but creep, maybe he picks up an MKB, but it just doesn't seem favorable when you're playing Wraith King. We'll see what he does decide to do. They still have plenty of magic damage anyway, with the Coddle, with the Sand King. You can still burst down the PA, especially if Rayla Lisa does end up getting an early Orchid pickup on the Storm, as he generally does. Still with these drafts over, John, which one do you favor going into this game number 2?
I think I'd actually still favor Egoboys here. I think this is a pretty good PA game for the reasons you pointed out. Like, just the Jur build you have from Evasion is going to be big. They've got this Tide Hunter that's very stable in the off lane. The Wraith King might not care too much about it, although it should. You're still not going to be able to shut that Tide Hunter down completely as well. For DogChamp, they're going to be banking on Rayla Lisa hitting those same timings we tend to see from him. Woody Orchid, so we're going to have to see if he does get that free run down mid. They almost always are prepared for it on Egoboys, though. They just let that slide through, so they know the matchup is there. Alone is on the puck, and you can see Alone giving a high again to Luki, just being very friendly.
Poppy Alone. Well, they love each other. Well, that's nice. Good to see a bit of love in the old chat. Tips being exchanged.
Yeah. Definitely nice. You know what else is nice, Mike?
What's that, John?
Dougie's birthday. Happy birthday, Dougie. Once again.
How could I forget? Happy
me.
birthday, Dougie. How could we forget?
He's turning into our own. He's turning into our own My Pro Dota 10.
True. That is very. I was actually.
Except no one's all chatting it. No one's all chatting it, so I'm disappointed.
True. Very, very true.
And, well, since we mentioned him, I might as well say happy birthday to My Pro Dota 10 as well. Every day is his birthday.
Yeah. Absolutely, John. DogChamp versus Egoboys. I mean, I agree with you on the draft as well. I think Egoboys do have an advantage going into this matchup. Just based off draft. Could go either way. I definitely think DogChamp's draft is better than last game. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's
an improvement.
Yeah.
It definitely does. It definitely should be. They've got more control to play with. They've got better timings lining up from their safe and off lane now. And Luki doesn't just static link and run away. This time he can jump in, he can get some damage off with Burrow Strike, he can Sandstorm in the middle, he can clear out waves with a Sandstorm as well, clear out camps. So much more stable time finding that farm. And Yaren has room to really start to build in. If he gets the Ag Scepter up, Will-O-Wisp is going to be there on top for the team fights. So there's some opportunities here for DogChamp. We'll see if they will find those opportunities. It looks like Egoboys are going to go for that same clump up bot and try to see if they can get something. They don't have as many stunts as before, but they do have Cask, which does punish an opposing clump up. So they might be able to still find something here.
Perhaps. On another note, John, I've got to say, and I've been thinking of this ever since the shards came out in the first place, but this Sand King shard, it needs to be buffed, man. It needs to be changed completely. It's just so meh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, what, 130 damage max level? One pulse?
And you've got to walk for it. It's not like it's every second or 2 seconds. It's like, no. What is it, like 700 units or something? No.
Yep.
Yeah, 700 units.
That's way too far. Yeah, that's way too far. I think if you dropped it down to maybe 500 units, or say even less, 400 units or 350. I think 350 sounds nice, but that might be a bit too much. 500. To be fair, 500 units down. Maybe there's value. I don't know. I've never seen anyone pick it up. It's kind of memey. You know.
I see it occasionally, but it really is a matter of like you've got to be destroying the other team. And then it's like, yeah, I'll just take the shards. Why not? You know.
I mean, I guess if you think about the value it gives, like one epicenter pulse does give you movement slow and attack slow, and the duration's 3 seconds for one pulse. So in terms of chasing heroes down, yeah, it's nice. It's just that, as you mentioned, you only pick it up when you're already winning to win harder. It's not something you pick up preemptively. So I don't know about that. As a pickup for Luki this game. However, Luki does have Yaren around in his lane. Sand King and Keeper for light combination can be pretty devastating. You get Sandstorm off, you get Illuminate off. It's going to be hard for Rises to walk up, find the last hits, and this is not necessarily a lane the PA enjoys. She can sit back, farm with Stifling Dagger, but once you get levels up in the Sand King, well, once you've got Caustic and Sandstorm and a level up in your Burrow Strike, it gets dangerous to contest these creeps.
It certainly does. See how Rises deals with this lane. And the Illuminate's going to be very annoying, I'm sure, for this PA, but see if you can just stay safe. Got to avoid getting Burrow Strike by a Luki into an Illuminate. Yeah, hell of a lot of damage output. Of course, over in the mid lane, we see Rayla Lisa up against the Lone once again. This time around, Alone not going to be playing the Tiny, but rather the Puck. I'd say that's probably even better, though, if I'm honest. The Puck just seems completely broken in the current meta. I'm sure Alone's going to have another nice game on his hands.
Yeah, it's going to be a smooth ride up for him. Rayla Lisa this time, though, is finding equal farm, so it's not as much of a washout in terms of this initial laning phase. Both heroes will want to secure those power runes as they come out. Should be easier for our Puck, considering that she does have a mobility spell. There is a bit of a congestion down top, and Bloody Nine can have to TP home.
He's going to be alright. No level 2 on Dismar means no roll. And, well, actually, First Blood occurs down towards the bot lane. Kara ends up dying to Yaren, and that's kind of what I talked about, John. You've got to be careful of that Burrow Strike into the Illuminate damage. It's like Yaren was the one who was able to get the last hit off to get the kill, and it never hurts to get First Blood on Keeper of the Line either. You really do enjoy getting that early gold ASAP.
Yeah, it allows Yarn to just build up into a tankier Keeper of the Light, gets you some additional regen, additional items on hand. There's this beautiful combination as well, not just with the stuns out, but once you have Chalker being spammed onto Luki, he's not going to have mana issues. The cooldown is lower in Burrow Strike, so you can find a follow-up in the lane as well.
Off lane, Dismar taking a fair bit of damage there from Bloody Nine, but Tano will kind of just be the wall between the enemy and his support. Meanwhile, bot lane Ryze is taking a hell of a lot of harassment here from Luki. Another thing we can't really forget about is the Caustic Finale damage, and Luki has got at least one point. In fact, a great Burrow Strike out, and he does get the kill onto the PA in the end. This lane is really starting to prove to be very, very dominant for DogChamp.
Yeah, they're really working it well. It's good to see more presence in the off lane compared to game 1. They're going again.
Yeah, but Bloody Nine top lane's going to be in trouble now as well. Tano able to get the kill. Dismar, very low creep, going to try and chase him down with the stun. Does manage to get the kill. He won't be able to finish off Tano, though. He should be fine. And of course, down at the bot lane, Luki, he got very low on the Sand King, but he does manage to survive.
Yeah, not quite enough damage on the PA. Did try to blink in with a dagger as well, but couldn't manage to clean up Luki. Still, you're really happy about this lane. You've got level 3 up, about to hit 4, and Kara.
Kara's gone. Illuminate flies through. He does pop the Melodict and the stun.
Oh.
They might get Luki in response. Nice little play out from Kara. Understanding he was dead and at least getting a kill for Rises. So ultimately not really that bad. Securing a kill in your PA. Never going to be upset about that.
It's a nice pick-me-up for Rises, considering how slow his lane has gone. He's still having a bit of a decent time, not too far behind a Raid King compared up top, and is still holding that lane steady. The one thing that is a bit of an issue is that Yaren is getting some value here, 9-1, sharing that farm with Luki at 13-4. So our Keeper of Light is going to have a smooth ramp into his own itemization and item timings, which is going to be an issue if you can't really do much about it on the Witch Doctor right now. It does look like they've even forced Rises to be the one to scout around for these power runes with his blur, and he does go out to buy at least a Ring of Health as well while waiting. Just
I love this.
Camp around a bit.
Level 2 Illuminate. Kara's losing 1/3 of his HP every time. So it's kind of ridiculous how much damage the Keeper of Light does as Rayla Lisa being caught out. He does not manage to get the bounty either. Still trying to man fight, does at least kill off Dismar, but he dies before he gets the kill, so not even getting any XP for that. And on top of all that, you lost your Storm and you got tipped by Alone.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing they didn't expect. Like, really, they walk up with the blur, so Rises just sneaks up. Does cop a lot of damage though.
Creep.
But it's not going to be enough to go down.
Well, Dream Call there from Alone. Tano somehow going to survive. Alone could not get the last hit off, and now Dismar is there to get the follow-up damage. Bloody Nine is going to try and run away and might just make it out, but the orb is now available for Alone. The raindrop will not be enough to save. On top of all that, John, bot lane, they lost Luki again on the Sand King. So things are starting to move the way of the Radiant. Yaron trying to snipe them with the Illuminate, but doesn't quite get anyone.
Yeah, and this is a worrying point for DogChamp. This kind of early recovery from Egoboys, finding these counter kills now, are going to cause issues. Rises is now a level ahead of Luki, which means our PA is still going to be on track for fairly good timing in Battle Fury, considering this kind of laning start. The top lane hasn't been as nice as well, though they're rolling on to Creep.
They are. Creep. He's going to be okay. Meanwhile, down at bot lane, 3 heroes here from DogChamp trying to just dive the tier 1 tower onto Kara, and it should be a nice easy kill on the Witch Doctor. Ryze is just going to hide on the right side of that tree line. Luki doesn't actually spot him out. Now he does. Rises has help coming in though. Dream Coil is there from alone. And Rises is able to finish off Luki. Meanwhile, Dismar, nice roll into Bloody 9. He does have the heal though, and will be able to just leave. But for Rises, 3rd kill of the game on the PA, his farm is really starting to escalate.
Yeah, it's starting to kick into gear, has the power treads flying out, can sustain himself with a Ring of Health. So he can just hold this lane, start to find some farm. Really good TP in from alone to punish that movement out. This does give some space out to Lisa to just farm in the jungle uncontested. And he's about halfway through to his Orchid at least. So you're starting to see some progression here for DogChamp. They do hold a slight net worth lead. Most of that is riding on their Storm at the moment. The rest of their cores have taken hits.
Maledict is there on the Sand King. They don't have detection though. Garen with the Sentry Ward getting the D Ward off. It's going to mean Luki does survive. By the way, John, as you were speaking about Lisa, I realized he got another Fairy's Trinket.
Excellent. Just every single time, finds the right neutral item. Unfortunately, it's not helping his cause that much. Like, he is top of net worth, but only by about 100 gold. He's been dipping in the jungle, not showing as much in lane. Alone is still keeping up fairly well, considering that Alone has rotated much more than Lisa has. And if you look at the wards here from Egoboys, they're just keeping constant track of that.
Luki is being recalled by Yaren, not sure about that. Now Dreamcore is there from alone onto 2 heroes underneath the tier 2 tower, and Rises is not dead. Bloody 9 is trying to kill him off. Impetus is not going to be enough. 15 HP. Lisa is going to zip through past the tier 1. Can he find him? He needs a hit, but Rises is juking him out. He finally finds him out, but it's going to cost him his life. It's not really that bad for Egoboys to lose the PA there. They get the mid-storm anyway.
Yeah, it's a huge sacrifice from DogChamp. 4 for 2. 4 for 1, actually, in the end there, going the way of Egoboys and DogChamp. They lose that slight lead they had. Their Storm was number 1 for them. Dropping the Storm gives a massive swing the way of Egoboys. Everyone else on the side of DogChamp is still suffering. Like, you look at Creep up top, and he's had some space to farm for himself, but he's under threat now.
You cursed him, John. You've cursed him. He levels up the Reincarnate. He'll turn back around, but he is certainly going to lose that first life. He probably won't lose the second, though. That Bloody 9's going to try and heal him up, but there's no way in hell. Enchantress heal is arguably the worst heal in the game. I say arguably, it's definitely the worst heal in the game. Don't you dare.
It's situationally good. It doesn't scale well with level 1. As you max it out, it's very nice mid-game, because it's a non-committal heal. You pop it on, you don't drain mana like the other heals, although Bloody 9...
Oh, fly through. Everything connects.
That's for your impertinence.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in the mid-game, it can be pretty annoying to get through the Enchantress HP pool with the heal, but in terms of helping anyone else, it doesn't do anything. Like, it's just for yourself.
Nah, it helps enough if you're full. The issue is if you're not full, then yeah, that's the split up in the heal. It's really not ideal. Level 1 of it is really bad though. It's among the worst of level 1. Although, you could argue Witch Doctor's level 1. Mana drain for the heal is not amazing as well. But it's a moot point. They are going to shove in the top lane now on the side of Egoboy. They still hold onto the Ravage from Tano. Like, he has not popped it yet. But there's always the threat of a Ravage as well if they come in for the defense, which does mean DogChamp gonna set their eyes and just building this farm up. They've got Creep in the jungle, but there's a smoke play here from Egoboys.
Dream Coil is nice. They know he doesn't have the reincarnation and the kick to the low ground to break the coil, but Creep is still alive. He has the Wraith Fire Blast, and now a Blinding Light's going to be there from Yaren. They'll help the Wraith King survive another day. Maybe that kick was kind of detrimental.
Yeah, I think this more realizes it. Bit of a misplay, but you know it's one that they wanted to risk. They wanted to get the break on the leash, and does end up biting him in the bum. So DogChamp can be happy enough wasting a couple of spells and getting Creep out alive without the reincarnation. So a bit of a blessing for them. Still, they're trying to find this farm catch-up. Luki is getting some space out for himself now. Very close to the blink on the Sand King. Just about 500 gold off. Once you have this blink on Luki, the Sand King can start to set up for your fights. You can start to jump in, stall out for this Wraith King who's still farming up for the Radiance Rush. And Creep is still set to have it at a pretty decent point, considering his lane up top was heavily contested. Not too far behind Rises, although that gap will grow as the Battle Fury flies in here for the PA.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Radiance timing for Wraith Kings, I think it is going to be a little bit slower than what you would hope. But definitely, he did have a very tough lane. In fact, he goes for the armlet. He just accepts the fact that the Radiance is going to be a bit too late. Needs a bit more. And I suppose the armlet does give you a bit more survivability and a bit more damage. I doubt he wants to fight. So he probably is just going to try and use that armlet to survive and just farm a bit faster.
Yeah, I do like that pickup though. Like, if ever you need to be aggressive, the armlet allows you to get some value out from your life as well. Although down mid, they are trying to pressure. Tano's just standing in front, still has the Ravage, has the Hood of Defiance, so it's not very easy here to kind of pick off here.
No, he's not. Creep and Luki in the Radiant jungle. You have Epicenter there from Luki if you want to commit. Doesn't have any kind of initiation like a blink yet, but he's about 30 gold off. Definitely doesn't want to die before he has that out. Kara did spot him out for a second. Yaren, the McCabe. Dream Coil is on target. Still zip in. Rayla Lisa, he's got the silence and he's got the punt, but the Yules is going to save the day for now. Meanwhile, Tano does jump in and has the Ravage, but he won't commit yet as alone. He is dropping, but will be able to orb away. Creep going back after Kara, but he's also going to be able to walk out. But no, the Burrow Strike is there from Luki. Still Kara will finally go down, and Tano never got the Ravage up. He's still walking away just fine. He could still turn this one around, and he does commit now, but the armlet toggle there from the Wraith King keeping Creep alive, and he will get Tano. He will not lose the reincarnation life either. They found the Earth Spirit to boot, and now he loses that first life, but it kind of just works out for them. Ooh. But that was a nice magnetize, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, you're still happy for DogChamp. Though they're coming in for the defense.
Yeah, this might not work out for Creep. He's going in very confidently, but Alone is going to be there to punish. I guess he just accepts the gold, but that's going to be 30 seconds off the map, and it's not going to be a great feeling. In fact, they found out Yaren as well. Rises is just around to try and secure the kill for himself, but Alone will take it.
Will you not rise in my presence?
15 minutes in. Still looking pretty darn good for Egoboys, even with the net worth advantage going DogChamp's way.
Yeah, a lot of that gold on DogChamp is riding on Rayla Lisa once more. The Orchid is up in her storm, so there's an opportunity now for Rayla Lisa to be more active on the map if he wants to be. Saving up for the Yules next, so just making sure he's not going to be silenced up in the middle of these fights is always nice. However, they have given up a lot of space to Rises. Number 2 in net worth, lagging behind by a bit, but that gap should narrow as the Battle of Fury farming efficiency starts kicking in. And this is the big worry that you have to pay attention to if you're DogChamp. You're just not farming as fast in the Wraith King with that armlet to really ignore a PA like this. You're just not matching up in farm. You have to be aware that Rises needs to be found and taken out sooner rather than later.
He's going to go straight for the BKB, and once it's up, he can just join his team. Tano will have the Ravage up in 35 seconds, and Once that's available, you could kind of expect another group up here from Egoboys. But now they'll just chill. Kara. He's been caught by Creep, but he's going to be able to walk away.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Creep still just trying to get that Sacred Relic into the Radiance. Looking like a 20-minute plus timing now. In all fairness, he hasn't got the most space in the world in this Wraith King. Everywhere just seems like a very dangerous position for him right now. He's going to move his way back to the triangle instead.
They're just prioritizing Ray Lisa over everyone else, although...
Bot lane. Smart. It's okay. Infinite shot not going to be enough. Now Bloody Nine being caught out along with Yaren. The roll back in with the Magnetize, and Dismar on a slither of HP is going to be able to survive even through the Illuminate. And Ray Lisa, no mana left. He got ravaged. It's like Luki does manage to at least kill Dismar, but Ray Lisa surely does not make it out of this. Creep's trying to help him. Stun is there. He's going to die. Epicenter, Luki, he'll cancel it off.
That's a lot of heroes dropping, and losing Ray Lisa like that is never good news. Again, they've invested heavily on the Storm. They've sort of sacrificed their farm on Creep to get that space out for Ray Lisa. So dropping there is not the best feeling in the world. Egoboys are just playing as 3 to 4. They're still giving this constant space out to Rises. His BKB is almost done. And once you've got that BKB on the PA, the Orchid from the Storm does not matter at all. The stuns from Wraith King won't matter as well, and the damage from Luki as well is not going to do a thing.
Morrow, mid lane, not going to connect on alone, and Yaren is a bit of a sitting duck now. Epicenter being channeled. Tano doesn't really care for the damage. Just hardly takes any. I think they are going to be enough. Or will it? Lone has the Dream Call if he wants to try and fight again, but looks like both sides are going to accept the fact that the team fight is over now. I say that.
No smoke.
Yeah, DogChamp have smoked again. There's no Ravage. They know that. They can run right into Rises. It's a big pickoff. Silence is there. Dismar will return the Silence back towards Ray Lisa, but there's your Burrow Strike in the Illuminate as well. Rises is still alive though. They zip back in. They'll get the kill and they'll find Dismar as well. Nice smoke out from DogChamp, really paying off.
Yeah, they kill off the most important hero this time on Egoboys, so the investment in PA just kind of turning against him. They are trying to jump, and Tano is by himself.
He is by himself, but he's a tanky boy. He's just going to be perfectly fine. They don't have the damage to kill the Tide right now. Even with that death, the PA is still sitting at the top of the net worth board. So it's going to slow him down a little bit, but he's still just perfectly fine. Still kind of waiting for Creep to catch up, and in all fairness to Creep, he is getting very, very close now to that Radiance. Has the Sacred Relic coming out on the Courier, and just needs a recipe now. And once the Radiance is there, you might just want to group up with your team and start trying to go for some more fights.
Yeah, that's the big timer for Creep to hit. Once he has the Radiance to constant burn, it's going to be painful for the PA. As we mentioned, the PA doesn't like fighting into evasion herself, so it could make it hard to get some hits off, although.
Bot lane, Kara does die, but now Ray Lisa again out of mana and was silenced up, but a great Burrow Strike in from Luki, connecting onto 2. Dismar's going to be targeted, and so will Alone. They will Epicenter just in case. In fact, now from the north, they do get a nice Ravage off. There goes Luki, and there goes Ray Lisa. Rise is looking for a big, big cleanup. And Bloody Nine will be the next target on his list as he gets a triple kill. Yaren looks like he's going to be the only one to get out of there. That was a very nice situation for Rises. He got every kill on the way out. Got all the golden XP for himself.
And that does give him his BKB as well, flying out right now onto the PA. Once you have that spell immunity, the Orchid's not going to do much. The silence, the control, the stuns out won't stop the PA from getting the damage off. And this is going to be an issue here for DogChamp. Like, the Radiance is probably going to line up here. for Creep, just about 300 gold off from the recipe. So you're going to have that BKB up against Radiant's timing. I think the BKB is going to be a bit more impactful up against the line of a DogChamp, though. So they might have to go back to the drawing board. They're still saving up for the BKB of Rayla Lisa as well. Does opt to not go for the Bloodtorrent upgrade, which we saw him queue up earlier on. So it's just the straight BKB to stand and fight, which is fair enough. There is no Ravage here from the side of Egoboys, but they do smoke up. There is a scan, though.
There is. They may assume they're in the Roshan pick, though. That's the thing. And Bloody Nine, well, he'll break the smoke of Kara. And that's going to kind of ruin the rotation now from Egoboys. So they ain't going to go much further. Bloody Nine also scouts out the Roshan with his dominated creep, just to make sure. Meanwhile, Rises, split pushes to the top lane, tries to force a rotation back. They're still going to try and force a fight here. Dismar jumping right in onto that Enchantress. That'll be him gone. The Bloody Nine buys back, and Luki, a nice Burrow Strike means Kara's going to die, and Dismar's in big trouble, but alone. A great dream call out. It just may not matter, or maybe it will. Rayla Lisa dropping low and does die. Luki is also extremely low, but is going to be able to get out for now. They do kill off the Tide. Meanwhile, Ryzen still going on that PA, happily killing Yaren off with a triple kill on the Phantom Assassin. But can he get himself out? Oh. They do get him in the end. And that's a full team wipe now for DogChamp.
Ooh, that's a massive swing wave DogChamp now. Just finding the angles, forcing the overextension from Egoboys. A bit of a deep movement out, really, from Rises. That caused this team to have to go into that jungle after the smoke broke. And causes the Roche to be opened up here for DogChamp. They're going to be fighting into Epicenter potentially, but they do have Ravage here once the respawn's on the Tide.
Roshan's going to mean a hell of a lot, though, for DogChamp. Ego, they definitely don't want to allow this to happen. You've got the Earth Spirit, so you have some still potential. You need vision. In fact, Luki, he's going to jump in preemptively straight onto Kara, but the roll and Death Ward is there, and Luki might just die to the Melody. Roshan as well, still happening. The roll in from Dismar, a little bit too early, but Rayla Lisa, he's very low on HP. He is going to drop, and the Earth Spirit is still going to survive Dismar. Ravage is out, but everyone's out of the pit. The Coconut Creep, he still gets the Aegis. He snatches it away. Will turn back around onto Tano. He's going to lose his first life. The buyback will be out from Luki. They're going to try and re-engage now. Onto the puck they go. They do manage to get him. That'll make the buyback somewhat worth it here for Luki. That's a very close call for DogChamp. Almost losing that Aegis. They did lose the Roshan kill, mind you. The gold went to Egoboys, but they got what was important.
Yeah, I mean, they hold on to it. It gives them time with Reincarnation still waiting to refresh for them to come back in. And, I mean, the Aegis did pop because Reincarnation was down. So, immediately expended, but not too bad for DogChamp. They still keep themselves in the slight net fourth lead. Egoboys now, again, have to wait for the next Ravage. They've got some time to build up. I think the Desolator for RPA is pretty much flying out into the Basher. So, slowly but surely, Rises is becoming a big issue in the front lines, but the itemization of Creep is kind of built to handle that. AC being built up by Creep just to tank up on armor, and with more armor, the Raid King's just very hard to really man up against as the PA.
Very even matchup here. Net worth lead is just basically gone now. Just a very even game. Mid lane, Luki has a haste rune. Feels confident, just Burrow Strike, but Dusted Up is still going to be able to blink away in time. 29 and Creep showing themselves as well. There's your Wraith Fire Blast being expended with the follow-up stuns, but now the roll back in from Dismar with Rises just jumping in on the PA. But who are they going to go for? It'll be Dismar, DogChamp, they'll get the first kill. Creep looking for another. Kara going to Glimmer Cape, avoid the stun, but the Burrow Strike there from Luki. Luki is not going to mean too much because Rises, he had the BKB and he just pops it to avoid all the damage from the epicenter. Now taking out the Reincarnation Light. They get Luki, but Rayla Lisa trying to jump back in, but he's out of mana. He'll zip away with the Chakra Magic, but Rises right back in onto Bloody Nine. We'll kill off another, and now Creep. He's only got one life, and it's not going to last long either. Rises will get a double kill, and they even found Yaren. It might be a triple. Tano will take that one. But a 4-hero wipe, the only person to survive was Raylalisa. And the only reason he did survive is Yaren got Chakra Magic off onto him before he got jumped on.
A prize.
Yeah, and that's a last-minute save on DogChamp, which is great, and he goes in.
Might find a kill, but the Yules is going to be out onto Dismar and going to purge off the silence. Not allow that bonus damage to tick in.
Silence.
Seems as though the Radiant now are well and truly in control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, they only have a 1k lead, which is still not significant in terms of net worth. The game has been fairly even, but in terms of control, you're seeing Egoboys once again pick up the pace. The Wraith King creep just not having enough just yet to withstand the hits from Rises now, and Rises, I believe, is flying out the Basher. So with a Basher and a PA, it's even harder to stand and fight up against that PA as a Wraith King. And they even go in. Raylalisa.
Coil is there. Raylalisa going to just stand his ground, but Dismar is there to try and help out. Still couldn't get the kick away through the coil. He'll pop the Magnetize, but he did miss the silence earlier on. So he couldn't really hold down the Spirit. Instead, alone, going to go for a shotgun blast onto the Sand King, but Epicenter going to be cancelled with the Yules of Dismar, and they're just going to hold him down and perma-stun him. It'll be Lukey gone. Of course, Rises comes in at the last second to make sure they get the kill, of course.
Yeah, you want that kill in the PA anyway, to rush up into the next items here. And Rice is just so confident, stands in front of everyone by himself, and it's not really much they can do. They knock him back, slow him down, but they don't have the opening to really jump in. Raylalisa is still a bit too far out for the zip in as well. They are going into armor here in DogChamp's end, so the AC is almost done. For the side of creep. Just waiting for the recipe to be finished up. The Shiva's being built here by Raylalisa. So once you do have that durability on hand, at the least you're not going to get critted out for, say, 1,200 damage anymore. And will take a little bit more time for Rises to get the damage off. But this PA is still looking stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Has the option to go for the Abyssal next. So you're going to have that guaranteed stun now. And that just makes it so much harder for DogChamp to try to get dead center in these fights. There is a Ravage ready to go here on Egoboys. So they could look to force a bigger fight now.
Oh, Dream Coil, that's a big target in the mid lane. He's got 1 life. That he can just let go. It's like creep, not gonna die yet. Dismar. Spotted danger. Rises trying to find a target. Will turn back around onto Lukey. Lukey just crits him to death. 1 hit will do it. They also lost that reincarnation life on creep, but he's going to be able to TP away. And DogChamp are just trying to leave the area. I've already lost their Sand King, and that'll be enough for them. They will have to lose their outpost as well. And maybe even a tier 2 tower in the mid lane.
And they don't have the option to defend, not without the epicenter on Lukey. They could try with a few zips from Raylalisa, and the beauty of the storm is that you can wave clear well from your base. So they can stall this one out until the respawn's up. It's fairly short respawns on hand, although Rises is still hunting.
You've got that reincarnation life back up, so creep shouldn't be too afraid. Definitely doesn't want to get caught out if you can avoid it, though. I think for Rises, I mean, you're so close to the Abyssal now, you may as well just go ahead and finish it off. That's exactly what he will do. They are going to make a chase onto the puck now. Raylalisa gets the Orchid, and you do have the follow-up burrow. Nice play there from DogChamp. The mid lane, creep. He's not too afraid. It's only a Tide Hunter. Gonna be just fine.
It's going to be harder to force these fights without the puck. The Dream Coil is one of their main pieces of control at the start, although creep.
Rise is going to jump in, hoping for a nice big crit, but he's not getting anything quite yet. It's creep. He will survive. Yaren now has the sight to device up. A Bloodthorn even on the Storm, but they'll blow up Lukey again. Creep still wanting to fight this one out, though. Does go back in with Raylalisa now onto the PA, and it looks like Rises is dropping low, but not low enough. He's still alive and still survives. Oh, Rises, he just won't go down. With this BKB, he continues to fight. Bloody Knight's about to drop the bash on the dagger for the Wraith King. And Dismar will continue rolling away as they get another, the Keeper of the Light, to go down. And, well, Creep's the only one left. And Rises, with the BKB chance, just would not die.
That was really on the edge for the BKB use, though. He was at really low HP when he popped it on. I love seeing this from Rises. He went for the level 20 evasion talent. This is just so much more value than the armor corruption. Like, now, when the Bloodthorn's not up, and when you're not hit by that active, there's nothing that stops you. Physical damage out from the Wraith King, not gonna hit. Impetus, not gonna hit. The only thing you have is magic damage, and, well, you pop the BKB on, nothing will stop you.
Oh, Luki misses that Burrow Strike. Wouldn't have led to much anyway. Abyssal Blade on the Courier now for Rises. This is a guaranteed tier 3 and more than likely a guaranteed bot rats. And if they want to force another team fight on the Dire base, it could be GG. So the buyback just isn't there right now for DogChamp. But they're going to go back to that mid tier 2 first. They should have seen the Abyssal Blade on Rises as well, so they're well aware of that item now. Looks like that's going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, they've got control of the map. They know they've kind of forced the situation on DogChamp to play on the high ground, which means that your Wraith King's not going to be able to farm up as fast. The AC is helping him out, but you can't get any damage out as a Wraith King at this game. They do get a good scan out onto Rayla Lisa. They just don't have the wards, but they might be able to find him still.
He's going to sit all the way across the map where Kara was, but just a Witch Doctor. Can't really do much by himself. Still, now that Rayla Lisa has no mana, you could try for the Roshan, but instead, Rise is going to go for the kill onto Bloody Nine. Does use his Abyssal Blade, get a nice kill. In fact, he wants a bit more. But Luki and Yaren aren't going to be able to remove themselves from this situation. I still think you just go back to the Roshan now.
Yeah, it's not much left to contest. I mean, they've got Epicenter, they've got this Burrow out if they want to. They need to make their way down there fast, as the Rosh is not going to last long at all. And it looks like DogChamp is just not aware.
Buy back on Bloody Nine, but it's way too late. There's your scan out, but it means nothing.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
This is a very awkward buyback for DogChamp, and they're going to smoke and try to make something out of this, but the bright side for them, Rises does TP away, so if they did take a team fight, the PA is not around. He's coming in, Bloody Nine, in a very awkward position now. If this smoke breaks, he's almost guaranteed to just die instantly. And that'll be a dieback on the Enchantress if he does.
It's going to be one hero short for the high ground defense. On the bright side, I mean, the Enchantress doesn't do too much in the high ground anyway at this point in the game. So you're not losing too much if Bloody Nine does fall, and only Bloody Nine falls. If another hero falls with Bloody Nine, then you're just kind of bleeding out one by one, which is not ideal here for the side of DogChamp. Egoboys, though, I gotta say, I'm looking at Rises. He's still using that Elven Tunic. So he's got the talent for evasion. He's got the Tunic up as well with an additional 16%, which ends up being 84% evasion.
Oh.
Like, that's like 16% chance to hit. Basically as much as the... I mean, Creep just can't hit. He's saving up for his MKB because he realizes this Bloodthorn's just not enough. Simply not enough. When the BKB goes off, you have no option as a Wraith King. So you can live through some hits, but it doesn't do anything.
Is it not about that time you just go Divine, though? Like, you're 33 minutes in, the MKB, at minimum, is going to take another couple minutes, assuming you have the space to farm, which you don't. I don't know. It feels like you go Divine or you just don't go MKB at all. It's...
Yeah, that's a fair point. You're a Wraith King anyway. You've got 2 lives, so you have a bailout if you can.
Yaren, smoke broken, roll in. Tano is there with the gush, and they are not going to save Yaren. They'll let him die. Of course, Dismar wants to go for a bit more and does spot out Luki, who does Burrow Strike to the low ground, but the roll is going to connect with the dust down. Luki going to try and Yules and TP away, but no, they have the Yules to give back to him. No way out for the Sand King, and he is going to die mid-Burrow Strike. He does have buyback, but it's going to be a pretty hard defense, especially without the Keeper of the Light for another 35 seconds. However, maybe this Rises might just lose his Aegis, and he does. Alright, that helps.
just running into the high ground without the rest of his team. Doesn't mean the Aegis is gone. They still have a cheese on hand on Tano, and they do have Ravage. So after blowing a couple of those spells, it's going to be risky walking back up here, especially if Tano gets a good Ravage off.
Fun fact, John, if Rises crits Bloody Nine once, he is dead instantly. So his HP pool is not enough to survive a crit. So, I mean, maybe with some armor by the towers, maybe it'll be just enough, but for now, Bloody Nine has to be very, very cautious about those daggers flying out. They do get the mid-racks, of course. 2 racks is up now for Egoboys. Creep, mid lane, still sticking around. Rises is there, roll in, is going to land very nicely from Dismar. Now Rises with the Abyssal Blade kills off Rayla Lisa. And they are going to get straight onto the Wraith King, but a nice epicenter, but there's your Ravage out now from Tano. The control is there. They'll kill off another in the form of Lukey Lukey. Just a moment. We're in a 3v5 scenario. Lukey has buyback. Rayla Lisa, he did not TP out. Desma knows as well. He's trying to heal up some mana here, but it's looking pretty darn awkward. He's gone. No buyback
No
on the
buybacks.
storm. That might just be it.
They still have a Raid King, I guess. He can stand and fight, but without the backup of his Storm or the Sand King, there's just not enough damage. Like,
John, he's
he
got-
can't hit the PA.
84% evasion, John. I'm not sure the Wraith King can do it.
No. He needs that Divine, but he doesn't have enough gold. It's just not going to come out in time. They are at least going to face off Mega Creep, but there's the buyback.
Okay, Lukey's here. Creep will try. Daggers to fly out. Bloody Nine doesn't even take the risk, just goes straight into that Ghost Form. Lukey now in danger as Rises just jumps in and cleans up the Enchantress. And Lukey is going to die back, it looks like. As they go on to the Wraith King. No help around for him. He's just a sitting duck.
Ooh,
Does go down and the GG is called. Rayla Lisa has seen enough. And that'll be a 2-0 victory for the side of Egoboys, and the first 2-0 victory today.
Yeah, just on point with all their plays throughout these two games. DogChamp not finding the opening. They keep going back to this Rayla Lisa Storm, which is a specialist. This is something they love to pick up, but I think a lot of teams understand what to do against it. Like the domination coming from alone in mid again. Just delaying Rayla Lisa's timings, the control they have over the runes make it so hard for Rayla Lisa to start snowballing. He still found a pretty good timing on the Orchid. It just wasn't enough. And while DogChamp was trying to sort those issues with Rayla Lisa, trying to hunt down the top lane instead, pressuring Tano, they left Rises alone for so long. Like they found a couple of movements in with the Illuminate, with a stun, but it just wasn't enough to stop the PA from farming up.
No, it was not, John. With that, though, it does lead us on to our final series of the day. Latham Defenders up against 5-Man Minus. We did get to see both these teams yesterday, and we'll get to see them again today for our final series. Should be a fairly interesting one, and of course, we are going to have a short 10-minute break, but after that break, we'll be back with our first game draft. Until then, it is MLP Dota and JohnXFire, and we'll see you again very, very soon.